Alright guys, Fuller coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. So, I said this before in a previous video, and I'll say it again, that like people say things in order to do damage control and are not really sincere in their intentions in saying the things that they're saying. So this is in regards to Team Canelo and all the stipulations around his current situation right now. Many people, were excited because they thought that Canelo was actually in negotiations with Demetrius Boo Boo Andre. But, from talking to the Demetrius Andre's strength and conditioning coach, I knew that it was the farthest thing from the truth. The fact of the matter is that when Canelo got stripped with the IBF belt, he had to do something to make it look like that he was still chasing greatness, that he was still wanting to fight all the top guys in his division. That's what he had to make it look like. So, of course they're going to throw out Demetrius Andre's name for the simple fact that Demetrius Andre is on the same network as Canelo, or I should say the same streaming service as Canelo. Now, upon reading a report today, Canelo ain't going to get back in the ring until November. That's when it's looking like he's going to fight again. And I really think what Canelo is banking on, in all honesty, is he is banking on the winner of the Kovalev and Yard fight. I think he believes that, Kovalev is going to win that fight, and that, by Kovalev winning that fight, he just figures that, it's the weakest link out light heavyweight. So it would be an easy touching, And so with that being said, we can count out a Demetrius Andre fight. Of course, people are still saying that, Demetrius Andre's name is being mentioned for November. But, I believe, according to Demetrius Andre, he wants to fight in October. So, I think he's going to fight in October because he said he needs at least one more fight to shake all the rust off. And I think he would rather have it in October. So, I hope the opponent in which is available to him is someone like a Murata or something like that, and that Murata would take that fight, because I believe Murata has a WBA regular strap, so nothing would be imploding on that fight, so that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. Because, waiting for Canelo, as we said before, you'll be turning blue at the face. Now, granted, we know that Canelo is the cash cow. We know that, when you fight Canelo, you're getting a big bag. That's why a lot of people want to fight him. That's why you have all these light heavyweights even calling Canelo out. Jean Pascal has even came out and said he'll welcome Canelo at 175. That would be his cash out fight. Real talk. But with that being said, we know that 160 there's killers. We know at 160 that there's killers waiting to just get their shot to kill. We understand that. But because of the particulars involved in it, And because of the politics of boxing, it's very difficult for that to happen. You know, I said it before, I'll say it again. You know, there's no guarantee that Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade will go in there and beat Canelo. But I would favor him to beat Canelo due to the fact that he's a longer fighter. He is the faster fighter. He is the more fleet-footed fighter. And also, I believe he's the more ring-savvy fighter. I watched the Canelo versus Daniel Jacobs fight again, and Canelo really didn't change his formula at all. You know, it was just basically him using bobbing and weaving, trying to get on the inside to touch Daniel Jacobs. That's why I saw the majority of the time. I think maybe one time, I think it was maybe once in that whole fight that Canelo really had, you know, Daniel Jacobs backed up into a corner. You know, I think so. I gotta watch it again. But I believe it was just one time when he had him like that, and he really didn't have Daniel Jacobs hurt in that fight at all. You know, I mean, if Canelo were to fight Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, I mean, first of all, there would be a flicker jab in his face at all time. Like, that jab would flick in his face so much, and it would be flicking so fast that he would be overwhelmed. And then another thing is, Demetrius Andrade, he can fight on the back foot. So when Canelo tries to come in and does his little bobbing and weaving, what's going to happen is Demetrius Andrade's just going to take half a step back and catch him with like a check hook or catch him with like a check uppercut. You know, I mean, I kind of see, for me, Demetrius Andrade is a fighter that just plays up to the level of opposition. You know, and we've seen this in this last couple of fights. And so I just truly believe that he would give Canelo the most problems out of the bunch of the middleweights. But as I said, it's no guarantee he wins because of the Oscar would, impose those hydration clauses, would impose special stipulations, would impose all kinds of things on him, you know. We know how Golden Boy does. Now, one thing that needs to be said is, like, I said it in the other video too, is that, like, not everything is all good at Golden Boy right now. You know, they're having some internal rifts with, like, Canelo and with, what he, like, that whole IBF scenario. And I mentioned that on the previous video. But, rifts aside, they're trying to get him to dance in November. That's what it's looking likely. Is that they're trying to get him back in there at that time. Now, personally, he could have fought Andrade in October, if he really wanted to fight him. But, I mean, to be honest, I don't think he fancies fighting him. I mean, I hate to say it, but, the Andrade fan base is like those who just, like, love the skills to pay the bill aspect of boxing. Unfortunately, what a lot of people are going to say is that with Andrade, that, he's a boring fighter. He doesn't bring anything to the table. That's what they're going to say with him. So that's why, like, that fight, that's a fight that, I would want to see and stuff like that. But it's just the whole issue is that Andrade doesn't have that style in which the greater boxing community wants to see. Like, the greater boxing community as it stands. So it's on the fringes between boxing and MMA, because, you know, MMA, they like to see all that, you know, mindless pummeling and stuff like that, you know, and they want to see that in boxing. And with Boo Boo, you ain't going to get that. You're going to get a highly skilled fighter who's going to show you some different things that you haven't seen before in the ring, but are going to be, of course, underappreciated by the audience that I named before. But, you know, as I said, you know, I think, you know, one article said it. Yeah, I don't know if this is true, but I mean, you have to question Canelo's moves and how he is moving. Like, you know, he talked about undisputed at middleweight, like that he wants to be undisputed. And it's like, okay, well, you know, we understand that you want to be undisputed at middleweight, but like, why would you vacate? Or, I mean, excuse me, like, why wouldn't you go get the last middleweight belt that you needed to get, which was the WBO belt, you know, if you really wanted to be undisputed? For me, I'm kind of like confused about that, you know. And then another thing, well, I mean, he doesn't have to do that, although it would be nice if he did it. But I was just going to mention him taking on a mandatory, you know, but he doesn't have to do that. Like, we know the business of boxing, you know. We haven't known Canelo to fight a mandatory, especially if a mandatory is like Charlo, you know. And again, we're not saying that like Charlo will win that fight, but we're just saying that the style that Charlo has would kind of favor him, you know. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure Ronnie Shields will put him in in the highest level camp that he's ever been in. And then, you know, it's crazy because I'm actually still thinking that maybe even an Earl Spence fight is a possibility with Canelo at a catchweight, because we know Canelo's a catchweight king. And Earl Spence had went on Radio Raccoon and said that he favors himself due to his athletic abilities and that he's the longer fighter and stuff like that. And it's true. You know, Canelo is not that tall. I don't even think he's 5'9". I think he's less than 5'9". You know, so if he's going against like taller guys like Andre 6'1", you know, the only reason why he had success with Rocky Fielding is because Rocky Fielding literally showed up to get punched. You know, that's what he was doing. I mean, I don't even think he landed any punch remarkable on Canelo. You know, I really don't. Plus, he was just coming off of a knockout loss, too. So, again, you know, there's no Andre fight happening. This kind of reminds me of, like, you know, there's this one soccer website called goal.com. And shout outs to goal.com, but what they do, this is like the thing that they do. They put basically something called like report when they just get random information that necessarily may not be true. You know, so let's say, for example, a player's name is coming up in the transfer window. So you'll see such and such player, talks have started for such and such player, reports, you know. it doesn't mean that those talks have started. It just means that they're doing that because to give the fans the impression or the idea that this player is really going to leave, you know, which is not necessarily the case. And so that's what happened with the Canelo Andre talks. They necessarily did not have talks, but reporters put out that they had talks in order to get the fans to like keep Canelo's name relevant and just have his name like out for people to talk about, you know. Not necessarily because there were actually transfer talks happening. But other than that, man, that's all I got. Leave your thoughts and leave your comments. So don't hold your breath for a Canelo Andre fight. Don't hold your breath for a Canelo fight until at least November, you know. Go Fuller signing out. You may like this video and you may subscribe to this channel, you know. We got some good stuff coming in this channel, you know. We're gonna hopefully get some more Erslandy Laura, like some fight camp video, you know. We're gonna, of course, have some more Demetrius Andrade stuff coming up. And we're definitely going to be in the building with the Showtime Sean Porter Earl Spence fight, you know, and we're going to see if we can get the ground level so we can get the full experience, interact with the other fighters there. Fuller signing out. Enjoy.